Hello everyone, welcome back to Russell's Movie Reviews, the show where I review stuff that's mostly pretty good and maybe one of the best movies of all time, or a film that just absolutely sucks and should remain in the depths of hell. And welcome back to the second episode of the three that I plan on doing today. The first one was Legend, and oh boy, and I'm excited to talk about this one. Um, Ever since I started doing the John Carpenter movies like Halloween and The Thing, I've always wanted to do, like I wanted to do all of them at some point, but this was one I was really keen on doing because I wanted to see what my opinion was on this film, and oh boy, I have a lot to talk about. So, no, there goes the mic. Today I wanted to review and discuss Big Trouble in Little China, released in July of 1986. Really quickly, before I get onto the review, I want to mention something real quick that I will bring up once or twice throughout this review. Is that, yes, I do know about the similar film that came out the same year around, I think, December of 86, and that is The Golden Child, starring Eddie Murphy. Um, will I be discussing that film at any point in the channel's history? Probably. I just gotta get the movie first. Um, but yes, I will be making comparisons, or I will be mentioning it once or twice throughout this review, so do beware. Um, but anyway, with that out of the way, let's continue on. So this was made on a budget of $25 million. Um, and this it only made 11.1 million domestically. So far, I have not been able to figure out how much it made worldwide. Um, but this was a massive box office bomb. This, you know, it did not do well, and it didn't help with the fact that there was a lot of hype at the time for a film called Aliens, which came out 16 days after this film premiered. In fact, this film bombed so bad that it was pulled from screens 3 to 4 days after its initial premiere. That's that's just that's pretty bad. Um, but yeah. And this is obviously again directed by the legendary John Carpenter, who has made several great classics from the '80s that bombed at the time, but now have gone on to become either cult classics or like massively like world renowned as like one of the best films of all time. Um, for example, like The Thing, bombed, but it's now considered one of the best horror films ever made. Um, and and yeah, so let's get on to the plot synopsis. So hard-boiled truck driver Jack Burton, played by Kurt motherfucking Russell, uh, gets caught in a bizarre conflict within and underneath San Francisco's Chinatown. An ancient Chinese priest, uh, a prince and Chinatown crime lord, has kidnapped a beautiful green-eyed woman who is the fiance of Jack's best friend, Wang Chai, played by Dennis Dunn. Jack must help his friend rescue the girl before the evil David Lopan, played by James Hong, uses her to bring the ancient curse that keeps him a fleshless and immortal soul. So yeah, that sounds pretty um pretty like insane for a film of this stature, and you know it kind of is. This is without I have no shame in saying that this is John Carpenter's weirdest film. Like, and I was even saying this before I even saw the movie. So that's how much that's how weird this film is. When I was even saying it before I even saw the film. Um, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. I want to state that very clearly that it isn't a bad thing just because it's weird. In fact, it helps the film in many ways. Um, like because all the crap that happens in this film, you can just put it down to the fact that like, oh yeah, this film is absolutely bonkers. That's like that I can accept it for that. So yeah. Um. So let's get on to the characters. So first up, we obviously have the main star himself and poster boy himself, Kurt motherfucking Russell, who plays Jack Burton. He is fantastic in this role. I mean, grandly, any role I think he's in, he's fantastic. Like McCready in The Thing, Snake Plissken, or not Snake Plissken. Actually, well, I think it is Snake Plissken. His character from Escape from New York and Escape from L.A., and obviously Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China. Um, yeah, he does great. You know, like fantastic performance. We have Dennis Dunn as Wang Chi. Um, he does fine with his performance. But I think that Dennis Dunn does great with the performance that he's given. We have the great Kim Cattrall as Gracie Law, and if you guys are a fan of my channel, you guys may remember she played a role in Star Trek Six: The Undiscovered Country, which came out 5 years after this film, and then the year after that, she played a role in Split Second. She does fine. She does great with the performance she's given. James Hong, who plays David Lopan. Um, he's just this kooky, over the top villain, and it's great. So no faults with him. Um, Victor Wong as Egg Shen. Again does great. Um, we have Susie Pei as Mao Yin, who is the fiance or is the girlfriend uh, of Wang, and he's about to propose to her when the events of the story start to kick off. Um, we have Carter Wong as Thunder, Peter Kwong as Rain, and James Pax as Lightning. Um, Now, if these characters look familiar to you, which by the way, they are, that's what they look like right there. If they look familiar to you guys, um, then it comes to no. If you guys are a fan of this film, you guys know um, that these three characters, especially Lightning, were the basis of Raiden from Mortal Kombat, as well as David Lopan was a basis of Shang Tsung. So there's a little fun fact for you guys. Um, we have Donald Lee as Eddie Lee, or Donald Lai, sorry. He does fine with the few scenes he has. And finally, we have Kate Burton as Margot, who is, I believe, Gracie's publicist, or she is trying to get a story, and she asks Gracie to help her, and then and she goes into the relationship with Eddie. Um, so yeah, like really, all these characters are fantastic in their own right. So, um, like grade A performances. Um, yeah. Um, So, I guess since I wasn't able to do this at the beginning, to briefly discuss my history, I've known, as probably said in the other John Carpenter films I've done on this channel, I've known this man for a long time. Um, ever since I started getting into films, you know, been hearing the guy's name all around. Um, like from his more like this is one of his most famous ones, but again, like this, The Thing, Halloween, Escape from New York, and then some of his lesser ones like They Live, Assault on Precinct 13, In the Mouth of Madness, learned all about them. So, um, you know, it's great to check out another one of his films. And one of the only films that he did that wasn't strict, that wasn't like really 100% horror. Um, uh, this and They Live are some of the only few John Carpenter films that aren't horror, like strictly, because The Thing, it was horror, Halloween horror, and The Mouth of Madness horror. Big Trouble in Little China, I would say it's a martial arts movie. And then They Live, I would say that's kind of like a sci-fi film, in a sense. Um, Prince of Darkness, that's technically kind of horror again. Um, yeah. So, um, so I know I showed this, you know, this version initially, but the one that I had before this was was this version. And this was the best version you could get up till 2019. This was the best version of the film you can get. Um, was this version released by 20th Century Fox back in 2009? Um, this version doesn't really have much. Like, I mean, the cover, it looks okay, but I don't really know really about this one. Um, but there's the back. Um, but in terms of special features, it comes with an audio commentary with director John Carpenter and actor Kurt Russell, an all new 5.1 TZS isolated score track, which I don't actually know if it's on this edition or not. Um, it might be on the second disc. I'm not exactly sure though. A deleted scenes, extended ending, vintage featurette, the music video, Richard Edlund interview, trailers and TV spots, and behind the scenes gallery. So yeah, that's pretty much all the stuff you got from this release. And then around 2019, not only this Screen Factory edition came out, but Arrow Video released I believe, a similar edition for regions not that is in the U.S. Because if you guys are fans of Screen Factory and you live overseas, then you guys may know that these are strictly Region A discs, as you guys can tell by that right there. That basically just means that this is strictly an an American and Canadian release, so you can only play this on American and Canadian Blu-ray players. Um, so yeah. Um, but in terms of special features wise, um, a new audio commentary with producer Larry J. Franklin. Uh, Also, another audio commentary with special effects artist Steve Johnson. The same commentary with Carpenter and Russell. Okay, yeah, it does include the isolated track as well. Theatrical trailers, TV spots, and vintage interviews with cast and crew. That's on disc one. Disc two, it has new interviews with actors Dennis Dunn, James Hong, Peter Kwong, Donald Lai, associate producer slash martial artist choreographer James Lee, and more, or James Liu. Interviews with John Carpenter, Kurt Russell, cinematographer Dean Cundy, producer Larry Franco, and stuntman Jeff Amada. Vintage featurette, deleted scenes, music video, gag reel, extended ending, still galleries, and much more. So that's. I don't even think that. Yeah, that's not even all of it. So, um, there could be a lot more special features on here, and that's a pretty significant upgrade from, you know, this um, this edition from 2009. So, you know, if you have this edition, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you need an upgrade, either I say take this one if you live in the U.S. Um, I think the Arrow video release is this. It has the same special features and transfer as this one. Obviously, just new cover art and stuff like that. So, yeah. And if you guys are fans of Scream Factory, then you guys know what I'm about to say next. Obviously, you have the very nice slipcover with this very nice artwork, which I gotta admit when I initially got this in the mail when I got it or when I ordered it, I was a bit hesitant to. I was like thinking like, should I flip it over? Because this cover art is very nice, but granted, I do have the slipcover, so technically I'm always gonna have this on. But yeah, you can have the new artwork done, as well as flipping it over and have the original poster design up. Which, by the way, this is one of the most like badass posters I've ever seen in my life, and that's the. It's all. This is technically also the same one that's on the. That will be on the Instagram post that I will be. That I post about. That I'll post about this review. Um, but yeah, you could. If I open it up, there is uh, the new artwork inside, and you can see that it is 2 disc. For some reason, I don't know why this is the case, but you can clearly see that right there it says collector's edition, which is a standard on all of the Scream Factory editions, and obviously here it doesn't say it. But for some reason on the slipcover it doesn't say collector's edition above the names, so um, I don't know if that's um, I don't know if that's a misprint on mine or if that's with the others, or if with any other copies. Because if anyone has this exact same edition, and if they have that error, please let me know in the comments down below. Because I would actually really like to know about that. Um, but yeah. Um, but yeah. I was just wondering. That's just kind of a weird thing to think about. Um, I guess grandly, if I tried to do a favorite scene segment about this movie, I could not because this whole film is amazing. But if I had to isolate one scene, it has to be the final fight because that whole scene is just straight up amazing. Like probably one of the, it doesn't honestly really compare to like Hong Kong cinema, at the time, and like with Bruce Lee and like Jackie Chan and stuff like that. But out of like the American like fight scenes I've seen, this is certainly one of the best I've ever seen. Um, or the, in terms of American fights that try to replicate the Chinese, like Hong Kong style, like Hong Kong cinema style fight scene, this is one of the better attempts. Um, but honestly, it doesn't come close to any of the, Hong Kong style. Um, the um, so my fun fact that I have for this movie is, did you know that Kurt Russell was actually afraid of taking the role? So yeah, he confessed on the DVD commentary, which I believe is the same commentary that's on these Blu-ray editions. That he was afraid of taking the role initially, and because he up till this point, besides I think Escape from New York, he every single film he starred in was bomb after bomb after bomb. I think it had. Huh. I think it initially started with The Thing, because, like I said, The Thing was a massive bomb, and that came out only a year after Escape from New York. So I'm assuming, starting with that, and up till this point, he was just getting bomb after bomb after bomb. Um, and so when he approached John Carpenter about it, he's like, I don't know if I want to do this. He's like, I don't care about how good the movie is. I just want to work on another movie with you. And I think that's kind of what was like, okay, I'll take the role. And um, uh, great to them. John Carpenter is like probably like the best, one of the best negotiators like ever. If that's all it takes to get someone like to work on a movie. Um, but yeah. The score was done by John Carpenter along with Alan Howarth, and the score is amazing. Um, Especially the title track, not the one that plays over the opening credits, but like the actual like Big Trouble in Little China song. I can just sing to that any single time, like every single time that song is plays. So, yeah. Oh, but the rest of the score is great as well. Um, there is a there was an expanded release that came out sometime over the last few years, and I will link put the link down in the description for the La La Land Records link. Um, so yeah. Um, and so I mean, really, like this is honestly a film that I want to discuss more into depth with people who have seen this film, because it's one of those films where it's like it needs to be seen to believe. Because when you like, I initially try to say it or like explain it to someone, they think that you're out of your mind. But again, it's like once you explain it to them, then it's like, okay, let's do this. So yeah. Um, and yeah. Um, I guess to discuss final thoughts on the film, as you guys could tell throughout this review, um, I love this film. This is certainly one of my favorite John Carpenter films of all time. Is it as good as The Thing? No. Is it as good as the as Halloween? No. Is it as good as Escape from New York? Maybe. Maybe slightly less. But this is still an entertaining film, and I would recommend this to anyone. So that's why I don't think this is a perfect film, but I think it's a solid enough film. And like I feel like that this film is so close to being a perfect film, but it's just a couple little things that keep it away from getting that special A+ treatment. So I'm gonna give this film a solid A. Um, there is a few, like I said, there's a few things about the film that keeps it from a solid A+, but I think for all the stuff that it does have, it deserves a solid A. So yeah, go out, buy this film, whichever version. If it's the 2009 edition, or this Fantastic Screen Factory edition, or even the Arrow video release if you live outside the U.S. and Canada, you know, however you get it somehow, because this film is a train ride that you'll love to be on. So yeah, guys. So that was the end of this review on Big Trouble in Little China. Click over here on my face over here, or click down at the name below to and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon for future notifications, and click over here for the previous two reviews, and stay tuned for hopefully again later on today where I'm going to discuss They Live. So anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video review, and stay tuned for later on today where I will discuss They Live. Anyways, it's all in the reflexes.